Bellator 285, Henderson versus Queally. Full card prediction. Before we get into the prediction, make sure everyone watching goes down and subscribes to the channel. If you want to like it, you definitely can do so. But we do Bellator predictions, PFL predictions, UFC predictions, MMA news, and so much more. So go subscribe. And let's get into this full card prediction. As you can see, this is the card. If you want to look at it yourselves, go on a Tapology, go to the second one on the right, and you'll see this Bellator 285 card. But we're going to get right into it as we got the first one here in the light heavyweight division. Karl Albrektsson and Karl Moore in the light heavyweight division. I'm going to be going Karl Albrektsson to win this fight. He's going to be the same height as Karl Moore here, pretty much the same reach as Karl Moore here, but I'm going to be honest, he is better everywhere. Striking, he could easily go out there, pressure Karl Moore, possibly even get a KO TKO win in round 1 or in round number 2. We can definitely win the fight on the feet in a 3-round decision, but I think the best path to victory for Karl Albrektsson in this fight is literally just take the fight down. The dude has devastating ground and pound, a lot of ground and pound TKO wins on his record, only losing a Yuri Prochazka UFC champion, Valentin Moldovsky, Bellator top tier fighter, and then Phil Davis. I mean, Karl Moore is not on the level of these guys. He's going to take down Karl Moore with ease in this fight, and if he wants to, TKO him, if he wants to, submit him, whichever one he wants, KO, TKO, or submission in round 1 or round number 2 from Karl Albrektsson. Brian Moore and Arivaldo Silva in the bantamweight division. Now for this one here, Brian Moore and Arivaldo Silva in the bantamweight division. I'm going to be honest, we got some old guys fighting here, 40.5 years old and 35 years old. Height, going Brian Moore. Striking, I'm going to say he's going to go Brian Moore. Wrestling and grappling, I'll give a slight edge to Arivaldo Silva, but they're both very old, 35 and 40 years old. If there's a finish, which there won't be, I would say it'd probably come from Brian Moore here. But Arivaldo Silva, you know he wants to wrestle, you know he wants to grapple, take the fight down, and look for another guillotine in round 1 or round number 2. He's got a lot of guillotines on his record, but if you look at the losses right there, a lot of them coming by decision and a few of them coming by knockout, mainly to strikers that are going out there defending his takedown and either knocking him out on the feet or beating him on the judges' scorecards with strikes. And that's what I see happening here. Brian Moore, his takedown defense isn't like super good, but it should be good enough to defend the takedowns of Arivaldo Silva, keep the fight on the feet, and win this one by a decision. Brett Johns and Jordan Winski in the bantamweight division. I'm going to go Brett Johns to win this fight, although I do think it's a lot closer than the betting odds have it as 5-1. For Brett Johns right there, the age advantage is going to go Brett Johns. A little bit of a height advantage for Jordan Winski right there. But if I'm Jordan Winski in this fight, I'm making this a brawl. I'm trying to make this as dirty as possible. I'm trying to go for takedowns and just grind on Brett Johns for 3 straight rounds. Possibly just grind enough to get that decision win. But probably not going to happen. Brett Johns, in my opinion, is so far superior in terms of wrestling and grappling. Went out there, submitted Tony Gravely on the ground, beat Montel Jackson inside of the UFC. Joe Soto with a calf slicer, only losing to champion Aljamain Sterling, Pedro Munoz, and future Bellator champion Danny Sabatello. We should easily go out there, take the fight down against Jordan Winski and win this fight via submission or ground and pound TKO in round number 2. But it's not what I'm going to go. Jordan Winski is a tough guy. I think he'll survive. He'll make it gritty and win at least one of these rounds, where Brett is going to get very close to some finish, close to getting a rear naked, close to getting a ground and pound TKO, but Jordan will survive, and we'll give that decision to Brett Johns. Darragh Kelly and Kyle Stevens in the lightweight division. I mean, come on, guys, come on. You're looking up a prediction for a Kyle Stevens, Darragh Kelly. You know what it's gonna be, guys. Kyle Stevens going out there 3-1 with a knockout win recently over a losing record opponent. Got knocked out by Lucas Cezala by ground and pound TKO due to a referee stoppage. Was doing very good as an amateur MMA fighter, just, not against the best competition. A lot of TKO wins though. But Darragh Kelly, you know exactly what Bellator is trying to do. They're trying to get him the easy W. 9-0 as an amateur, submission. Few TKO wins here and there as well, but I do think Kyle Stevens will strike with Darragh Kelly for a little bit, try to make this a striking match and look for the TKO if he can get it to the ground. Try to stay away from that guillotine of Darragh Kelly and ground a pound for the win. Just not going to happen. Darragh will eventually either get that guillotine or end up on top and ground and pound at Kyle Stevens. Possible rear naked. Those are the three options. Guillotine, rear naked, or ground and pound TKO for Darragh Kelly in round 1 or round 2. Georgi, Karakhanyan, and Kane Mousah in the lightweight division, 36 and, 37, and they're the same height, pretty much the same reach, but I'm gonna say the clear advantage here is in the wrestling of Georgi Karakhanyan, going out there, getting that arm triangle on Kiefer Crosby, beating Bryce Logan by a split decision, losing to Miles Jury by a split decision. A lot of his fights go to a decision, and I do think this one does as well, because Kane is used to losing decisions recently. If he's gonna win this fight, needs to go out there, try to strike with him, land him something big on the feet, and either rock Georgi Karakhanyan, show that to the judges and win a decision, or actually knock out Georgi. Can't see it happening. I see the striking being very, very even. Georgi mixing in the takedowns and winning the fight on the scorecards by a decision. Alex Bodnar and Kenny Mokhonoana in the featherweight division, you know what I'm going to say. Kenny Mokhonoana, however you say that one, 25 and a half years old, very athletic, is, in my opinion, going to get the fight down on the ground, very fast here. He's going to get the fight to the clinch, look for a single double leg. In round number 1, he'll probably get it. I don't know if he's going to get the submission just clearly off of in round number 1, because a lot of his fights, believe it or not, do actually go to the later rounds. His second amateur MMA fight went to round number 3. One of his recent ones went to round number 3. And I don't even know about his professional MMA ones. I don't know what rounds those went to. But his grappling is very, very solid. Good jiu-jitsu, good ground and pound as well. And I'm assuming he's going to try to look for a TKO here in his Bellator debut. Wants to make a good impression on the Bellator fans. But it's going to be a tough one here. Because again, this guy only loses by submission. Guillotine loss. We got a rear naked loss. We got a triangle loss. So although I would like to see Kenny go out there, take the fight down, and try to ground a pound for the win, maybe just try to knock out Alex Bodnar on the feet, Alex is just not that good at defending submissions, so eventually Kenny will find an opening and either get a Darce or a rear naked choke submission. Jordan Barton and Asael Adjoudj in the featherweight division. I'm going Jordan Barton here. If you look at the betting odds for this fight with Jordan Barton, he's at minus 150 and he started at minus 260. It was a heavy favorite to start out the betting odds, and the reason the odds are shifting is because Asael is very tall, he's very lengthy, he is from SBG Ireland, and he is from France as well. 23 years of age, very young, on a 3-fight win streak, and undefeated inside of Bellator. Actually, no, I take that back, did lose the very close split decision against Constantina Blanita. But he's got a good ground game, a second round TKO win, a third round submission win, an anaconda choke right there. No losses inside the distance, but again, I don't see why the odds are shifting so much. I think the Tapology predictions kind of have it exactly as they should, as Barton is the much better striker. He's got good takedown defense, good submissions when his opponents do come in for the takedowns. He's got a good guillotine, and his striking is just a lot better. Good outside leg kicks, jabs, right hooks, and things like that. I think he's going to land the harder shots and land more shots and win this fight on the scorecards. Dante Schiro versus Luca Pocklit in the welterweight division. Finishing ability, yeah, we'll go Luca Pocklit on this one. If he can get the fight down, got a very good shot against an anaconda, TKO, rear naked, guillotine, all that good stuff. He's a finisher from SBG Ireland. He's got good finishing ability. But if you watch Dante Schiro, he's got solid takedown defense, very solid striking, and his grappling and wrestling is also good enough to kind of compare with Luca Pocklit. So I think, like he did with Logan Storley, he's going to defend a lot of the takedowns here, make this a striking match, and he's just a better striker than Luca Pocklit. From what I've seen, maybe Luca Pocklit has been training a lot since that 3-year off layoff, because I didn't really watch the 2-month ago one where he just kind of went out there, got the takedown easily. I don't know, maybe Luca Pocklit goes out there with super new and improved striking as he's training with SBG Ireland, but I give the advantage to Dante on the feet. I think an outstrike for the win. Ciaran Clark and Rafael Hudson in the featherweight division. Easy prediction. Ciaran Clark gonna take the fight down ASAP. He's gonna start ground and pounding, and he's gonna get the back of Rafael Hudson right here and either get the rear naked choke submission, or he's just gonna ground and pound to the side of the head of Rafael Hudson. Either way, Ciaran Clark inside the distance. Burnell and Pedro Carvalho in the featherweight division. What do you want me to say? Come on, Burnell's going to win this one. His striking really isn't that bad, even though he did get outstruck by Adam Borics for literally all 5 rounds in that one. I still believe he's going to land a lot of takedowns on Pedro Carvalho, keep the striking as even as he possibly can, and he's kind of going to do what Piotr Nielzilski was able to do in the last fight and just land a lot of takedowns here, double legs, trips in the clinch, and things like that. Look for some submissions, but I don't think he's going to get any of those submissions. I see Burnell grinding with the wrestling and grappling, using his wrestling he's been learning from Extreme Couture to just control the fight on the ground and win it on the scorecards. Leah McCourt, Dayana Silva at featherweight, 50-50 fight on the betting odds. Dayana was the underdog, now Leah McCourt is the underdog, but some bookies have Dayana Silva as the underdog. It's a 50-50 fight on the odds. 93% going McCourt because she's hot, that's probably about it. But I'm going to go the underdog, Dayana Silva right here. She is going to be a little bit older, she's not going to be as tall, she's not going to be as lengthy as Leah McCourt here, but she does have the pressure, she's got the volume, she's going to come forward for 3 straight rounds, make this a 3-round Muay Thai kickboxing boxing match. With Leah McCourt, the leg kicks are going to be even between the two, but the boxing, I think, is going to go Dayana Silva in round 2 and round 3. Leah will have some success, like usual, in round number 1, just popping the jab in 1-2, but when she starts to slow down a little bit, Dayana's going to win the fight. I got her by unanimous decision. Yoel Romero and Melvin Manhoef in the light heavyweight division. It's a simple prediction, guys. Come on. You know what it is. Yoel Romero is going to win this fight. I got him going out there just destroying Melvin Manhoef here. This is an even easier fight for Yoel Romero than Alex Polizzi, and Yoel absolutely destroyed Alex Polizzi in that fight. I mean, he got a split decision with Whitaker, lost a fight that I think he won against Paulo Costa, another fight a lot of people think he won against Israel Adesanya, and then another fight some people think he won that was a split decision against Phil Davis. The dude's crazy. The dude just knocked out knocked out Alex Polizzi with 1 second left. He's 4 inches taller than Melvin right here. He's a better wrestler. He's a better grappler. He's more athletic. Somehow he's younger. He's the better striker. It's so easy in my opinion for this prediction, but it is MMA. It is the higher weight classes, and Melvin got that knockout win on Yannick Bahati. Could definitely go out there, land something big, and get a TKO, but I think Yoel's going to crack him on the feet, land a little bit of ground and pound, and the fight will be over in round 1 or round 2. Yoel by TKO. Benson Henderson and Peter Queally in the lightweight division. I know this is in Dublin, Ireland. I know everyone wants Peter Queally to win as they're in Dublin, Ireland, but it's 5 rounds right here. Peter Queally might have the advantage early on in this fight, landing some big shots, putting on the pressure onto Benson Henderson, landing some good hooks, some uppercuts, some overhands, and things like that. But I do think Benson is going to have the grappling and submission advantage on the ground, and that could be a possibility of him getting a submission later on in this fight, or just using some control time on the ground, some submission attempts on the ground to help her if the fight does end up going to the judges' scorecards. But either way, even if it's a striking match, I think Peter will win the early rounds and Benson will win the later rounds, countering, using his leg kicks, using his body kicks, jabbing a 1-2 in, and just countering Peter Queally as he comes in those later rounds. So if it is a striking match, I'm still going to slightly lean Benson Henderson to win. But if Benson can mix in some takedowns and submission attempts as well, that'll increase my confidence. But either way, grappling or no grappling, I'm still going Benson Henderson to win this one by a close 48-47 decision. Those are the full card predictions for Bellator 285 Henderson versus Queally. I got the champion, well, former champion, over there in the UFC, Benson Henderson by decision. Yoel Romero in round 1 or 2 by TKO. Dayana Silva decision. Burnell by decision. Ciaran Clark by KO, TKO, or submission. Dante Schiro by decision. Jordan Barton by decision. Kenny Mokhonoana by a submission. Georgi Karakhanyan by decision. Darragh Kelly by a submission. Brett Johns by a decision, Brian Moore by a decision, and Karl Albrektsson by TKO or a submission there. Those are the full card predictions. Like, subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.